Hello dear fans, friends and subscribers. Welcome to the Cricket Happening show with your host Ram. Well, on this cricket show, I'm going to start off from where I left off yesterday. As you know, there was a match, the first One Day International of the series, which was played between New Zealand and Pakistan. Unfortunately, I had some problem with my broadcast yesterday, and sorry about it, but it was Pakistan who actually won the match. And what was more important to note here was the way Shahid Afridi played. I mean, Shahid Afridi normally is a blaster, but yesterday he showed lots of maturity in nursing Haris Sohail to take Pakistan to victory. Even though he lost his wicket, but Shahid Afridi definitely what he did best was restrained himself, and that really I think that was the one which was the difference between New Zealand and Pakistan yesterday. Because New Zealand would have thought that Shahid Afridi might try to tear the leather of the ball and he might be out, probably it is instinct, but it was a 110 run partnership where Shahid Afridi contributed 61 valuable runs of 51 balls, 7 fours and 1 6. But what was more important was that he was not in a hurry. He took his time. He allowed the senior partner Haris Sohail to really get going, and both Haris Sohail also he got the Man of the Match award for a wonderful innings of 85 of 109 balls with 5 fours and 1 6. He was the one who nursed the Pakistan team to victory, even though Shahid Afridi was run out for 61 of 51 balls. Riaz was there to give him company, but Haris Sohail, I thought he played very well. He played some very good strokes, but as I said, the important thing for them, because Pakistan at that stage, chasing 246, were in real trouble at 124 for 6 when Shahid Afridi walked out. And normally one would have probably thought that Shahid Afridi would go hammer and tongs and try to hit the bowling, because that is his instinctive way of playing. But well, he restrained himself, he curbed his natural instincts, and I thought he really played for the Pakistan team, and that is very important from Shahid Afridi. So Shahid Afridi definitely showing great signs of what an experienced player he is by really helping the youngster Haris Sohail, and both of them putting on a 110 run partnership to ensure that Pakistan would win this match without any further problems. So Shahid Afridi, as I said, made 61 of 51 balls with 7 fours and 1 6. Haris Sohail, I thought he was very impressive in his play, took his time at the crease, but he was making sure that he was getting the ones and twos in a very responsible manner, and that's what he did. So he remained not out on 85, 109 balls with 5 fours and 1 6, which helped him take the Man of the Match award, and Pakistan winning the match by 3 wickets. Looking at the bowling figures, so the first One Day International is all wrapped up in the 7-match One Day International series, with Pakistan going 1-0 up in the One Day series. Kyle Mills, 10 overs, 2 minutes, 1 for 54. Adam Min bowls with lots of pace and ferocity, none for 42 of 10. Daniel Vettori, 10 overs, 240 was impressive. Neesham, 9.3 overs, no made in 2 for 62. Got a bit of tap from both Haris Sohail and Shahid Afridi. Nathan McLem, 8 overs, 1 for 35, 2 overs for 16 for Acton Devsich. So Pakistan leading it was not a 7-match One Day International series, as I said, it's a 5-match series, and Pakistan are leading the 5-match series 1-0. Well, from here we are heading towards Australia, and the reason that we are heading towards Australia at the Adelaide Oval is that day 1 was finally done, as we were all waiting after the very sad demise of Phil Hughes. One was wondering what is in store between India and Australia, but finally the proceedings started at the Adelaide Oval with some silence for Phil Hughes, the departed soul, and also the players all congregating together, and really 63 seconds of applause from the audience, and finally that emotional duty was done by both the teams, and then the battle started at the Adelaide Oval here for the Border Gavaskar Trophy. So stumps on day 1, Australia finishing on 354 for 6, but I thought the Indian bowlers with the second new ball struck it hard by picking up 3 quick wickets to see to it that Australia didn't take the honours fully, as I would say the honours were shared, even though David Warner went on to make his 10th Test century with a beautiful knock of 145 of 163 balls with 19 fours, in which he looked at the heavens when he got his 50, he looked at the heavens when he got his 63, which was the score that Phil Hughes was not out when he died, and also when he went to his century, he had his customary celebration of running in and pumping the fist. And David Warner, well, he played superbly. He really blunted this Indian attack, and he reduced the Indian attack to nothing with his wonderful knock of 145 with 19 boundaries. So just talking about the match, for India, I thought it came as a surprise that Karan Sharma had actually made his Test debut in place of Ravichandran Ashwin. It really came as a surprise, but one does not know what was the thinking behind it. So probably India expect the ball to turn. One does not know, because Ravichandran Ashwin is also a very good bowler. And I thought in the first Test match, one would have had the feeling that Ravichandran Ashwin should have played. Barring if at all there was any injury for Ravichandran Ashwin, one could probably say yes. But Karan Sharma was the one who actually made his Test debut yesterday. And the play started at the Adelaide Oval under real blue skies. The sun was shining brightly. The pitch was looking magnificent. And as Chris Rogers, as Australia were the ones who actually had the luck of the coin, as Michael Clarke, the Australian captain, won the toss, and the emotional Test match started at the Adelaide Oval. As you know, it was Phil Hughes who was stuck here at the Adelaide Oval when he passed away. So the emotional overtones were all over, and it was back to business as usual at the Adelaide Oval when Chris Rogers and David Warner slowly made their way to the middle of the pitch. Well, it all started with Chris Rogers and David Warner starting the innings. Chris Rogers was very quiet. He was kept quiet by Mohammad Shami and Varun Arun. But David Warner, well, David Warner was really very severe. And in fact, one thing that I would like to say, dear friends subscribers, there was a new line of attack yesterday. One does not know what was the thinking behind that. But what they did is they decided to bowl the Indian pace bowlers, probably under instructions. Mohammad Shami and Varun Arun were told to bowl round the wicket. So in fact, all the way till lunch, we saw the bowlers actually bowling round the wicket, especially to David Warner. And David Warner, David Warner was equal to the task. Well, he really understood what's going on, and he was pretty equal to the task, and he played some beautiful strokes. In fact, the only problem with the Indian pace bowlers, Varun Arun was bowling with lots of pace, but was a bit wavered, I thought, and Mohammad Shami also couldn't hit his straps. Both were giving some full and wide length deliveries, and David Warner was the one not to leave away the opportunity, capitalizing on that in a big way by slamming them for boundaries. David Warner was looking very powerful, while Chris Rogers, as usual, was at his sedate self. But then finally, the Mohammad Shami and Varun Arun could not produce anything, and we definitely saw the arrival of the bouncer when Varun Arun tested David Warner with the bouncer, and in fact David Warner weaved away from the delivery, and the ball went to the wicketkeeper's gloves. Ridhiman Shah was the wicketkeeper. As you know, Virat Kohli was leading India for the first time in this Test match. This was his first Test match as captain, as Mahendra Singh Dhoni was not playing. And Chris Rogers was the first to go, as Ishan Sharma was brought into the attack as first change by Virat Kohli, and Ishan Sharma immediately got the wicket of Chris Rogers, as he had Chris Rogers trying to play a delivery through the slip region, and Shikhar Dhawan in the slip, moving to his left, took a very good catch. So Chris Rogers was the first wicket to go. Caught Dhawan bowled Ishan Sharma for 9 with 1-4. And Ishan Sharma was the best bowler of the day. He bowled splendidly. He got only 1 wicket of Rogers, but look at his bowling figures. 20 overs, 4 maidens, 56 runs on 1 wicket. So Chris Rogers was gone with the score on 50. And then Shane Watson came in. Well, Shane Watson was a bit tested by Varun Arun with some real searing pace, as Varun Arun was hitting the 150 mark, and Varun Arun was the man who actually took the wicket of Shane Watson, as Shane Watson was caught in the slip region. Actually, Shane Watson was probably trying to, as you know, Shane Watson likes to cut, and he was trying to cut it through the slips region, and Shikhar Dhawan once more into business as Varun Arun was the bowler. Varun Arun getting his first wicket as Shane Watson was gone for 14. That made the score 88 for 2, and Australia were 88 for 2 at that stage. After that, Michael Clarke, the Australian captain, walked in to huge applause, and he and David Warner were the crease. And from 88 for 2, it was a real grind for the Indians, as both the batsmen, David Warner, as I said, was playing some powerful strokes. Michael Clarke was looking pretty good. His timing was absolutely perfect. He was both of them, both Michael Clarke and David Warner were really playing some good strokes. And as said, Michael Clarke was looking perfectly in touch yesterday, the way he was playing his strokes. And things were going on pretty well for Australia. In fact, Ishan Sharma bowled, and Karan Sharma, the right arm leg spinner, came into action. As I said, he was making his test debut. Well, I wouldn't say Karan Sharma was very impressive, but definitely he tried to bowl. But David Warner and Michael Clarke saw to it that Karan Sharma wouldn't be much of a threat when they dealt with him very severely. And then David Warner and Michael Clarke were doing all the good work, and they had taken the score to a very good 206. But that was the time Michael Clarke had the recurrence of the back problem. He got some cramps in his back, and he was finding it very difficult, and finally he decided that he would walk off. But at that time, Australia were really sitting pretty at 206 for 2. But it was a sort of a shame that Michael Clarke got his problem with the back, and he had to retire hurt after making a well-made 60 with 9 fours, and I'm sure he will resume duty if at all on the second day, and that made the score 206 for 2, even though Clarke was retired out. No, he retired not out on 60. After that, it was the turn of Stephen Smith to join David Warner. David Warner was still smoking boundaries at will. In fact, he had already scored 19 boundaries, which was good. He got to his century with David Warner, as I said, was really showing the emotion, as he was always looking up to the skies when he got his 50. When he got his century, he looked up at the skies, probably to say, Phil Hughes, this is for you, mate. And also, finally, David Warner strided across to his 10th Test century, and what a century that was. David Warner really, I thought he would have made Phil Hughes proud here by actually scoring that. I'm sure David Warner has started off in great fashion in this Test series, and what a start for David Warner, especially for his mate Phil Hughes, that he scored this century. So 145 was his final tally, and then Karan Sharma, who actually tempted him, was coming round the wicket. And that was the time one saw that Ian Chappell in the Channel 9 cricket commentary box was really criticizing the Indian approach of bowling round the wicket. And Karan Sharma was the one who was bowling at that stage, and David Warner, trying to hoik Karan Sharma over the mid-wicket region, ended up in the hands of Ishan Sharma, as Ishan Sharma took a neat catch, and David Warner was gone after making 145 wonderful runs of just 163 deliveries. 19 fours were started in that knock. A beautiful knock from David Warner. Really gave this Indian pace attack nothing to really think about. But one person who really stopped Warner in his tracks was Ishan Sharma, who bowled a very tight line to David Warner, and David Warner had to really be content with defense when it was Ishan Sharma. But his attention to hit a score off was of Mohammad Shami, Varun Arun, Karan Sharma, and Murli Vijay, who also bowled 12 overs, 3 minutes, none for 27. And then at 258 was the score when David Warner departed after making 145 beautiful runs, and that was the time the score read 258 for 3. Mitchell Marsh came in. Well, Mitchell Marsh definitely couldn't get his bearings right. Stephen Smith, on the other hand, was in the company of Warner. He was trying to take it easy, but when Mitchell Marsh came in, we saw that Stephen Smith started using his twinkling feet to the spinners by coming down the wicket and driving them. And it was really good to see Stephen Smith, such a talented player, and he has been in some great form too in the two against Pakistan, as you remember. And Stephen Smith continued in the same fashion. Mitchell Marsh, as said, really had his struggle against Spain, especially against Karan Sharma. He was not really able to judge certain Karan Sharma's deliveries, but then he was showing some door defense, and he was probably showing that with his experience he has been learning. He had been playing the Pakistani bowlers, as you would remember, Zulfikar Babar and Yasir Shah. So here he had a battle with Karan Sharma, and I thought Mitchell Marsh stood it very well when the partnership once again started blossoming for Australia, from taking the score from 258 now to 345. So it was essentially an 87 runs partnership between Stephen Smith and Mitchell Marsh, and the score stood at 345. That was the time the new ball was claimed by Virat Kohli. So it was, in fact, as I said, Australia were in a very, very commanding position at that stage, at 345 for 3. And finally, when stumps on day one, the second new ball was the one which really did the trick for India. As first it was Varun Arun, who actually, as I said, he was bowling with lots of pace. And today what he did is, he really surprised Mitchell Marsh with a real shearing delivery which really took off on him, and it is and all that Mitchell Marsh could do, see that he got an edge onto it, and Kohli at slips made no mistake, and Mitchell Marsh, after making 41 with 5 boundaries, was a goner. So that made it 345 for 4 for Australia. And then towards the close of play, it was Mohammad Shami who picked up 2 more wickets to really knock off Australia, as he picked up Nathan Lyon by clean bowling him for 3, and then with the last ball of the day, it was the last ball of the day because it was the 90th over which was going on. There was only the second ball of the 90th over of the day. Brad Haddin was a victim, as he got a nick onto a ball from Mohammad Shami. It was a beautiful delivery bowled by Mohammad Shami that moved in late, and Brad Haddin was gone, caught by Saha for a duck. And as I said, one could have said that Australia would have taken the honours, but I thought India really grabbed the honours back with the second new ball, and Australia at stumps on day one stood at 354 for 6, batting first. Stephen Smith was there unconquered on 72 with 9 very nice boundaries hit. And Australia, as you know, Adelaide Oval is a perfect batting pitch. The conditions are absolutely ideal for batting. There's nothing in for the bowlers here, and it would be very ideal for Australia to go on to a score of 500. Now, they still have that hope of going to the 500 because Michael Clarke, as you know, he could probably come back today since he is retired hurt, and then Stephen Smith is looking pretty good for a century now, not out on 72. And they still have Siddle and Johnson still to come who can play. Even Harris can play, so they really bat down till the tail, the Australian lineup. So one can probably think that Australia would be eyeing something in the range of 500, 550 to really pile on the pressure on the Indians. But whether the second new ball, which really did all the tricks yesterday in the evening, could once again do it back in the morning, because and one other advantage for India would be the dew factor in the morning, and the ball is absolutely new, so the new cherry. So I think it is something, it would be an interesting battle, and India would be hoping that they could actually get this Australian innings wound up for 450. But a real battle on the cards coming up here at the Adelaide Oval on day 2. Let's have a look at the bowling. Mohammad Shami, I think the Indian bowling, as I said, the second new ball was the one which really did the trick for India. Mohammad Shami, 17.2 overs, 183 runs and 2 wickets. Didn't bowl well in the first spell, but in the second new ball he really struck by picking those 2 wickets. In fact, Nathan Lyon was sent in as a night watchman, and that ploy actually failed for Australia, and Brad Haddin had to come, and he also lost his wicket. So Varun Arun bowled with lots of pace. He also got the ball to kick at times. Other than that, Varun Arun, I thought his bowling was a bit wavered. He was not sticking to a good line and length, and that was what really enabled the Australian batsmen to really hit Varun Arun for a lot of boundaries. 17 overs, 195 runs and 2 wickets. Ishan Sharma, to me, the best bowler of the day. 20 overs, 4 minutes, 1 for 56. Splendid bowling, even though his wicket taking doesn't reflect it. Karan Sharma, 23 overs, 1 minute, 1 for 89 on his test debut. Murli Vijay, 12 overs, 3 minutes, 1 for 27. So this was an interesting thing to watch, that Virat Kohli decided that he will give Murli Vijay a long run, and I thought Murli Vijay bowled well. I mean, one has not seen Murli Vijay bowl so much under Dhoni's captaincy, but Virat Kohli probably thinks that Murli Vijay could be a good bowler, and he gave him a long spell of 12 overs, 3 minutes, done for 27. So that was day one at the Adelaide Oval. Now what I'm going to talk about is just some news saying that it has come as a bit of a surprise, considering that as you know, all the teams have been naming their probables for the World Cup, the 30 probables. Yesterday West Indies named their 30 probables, and the surprise happens to be that there is the player's name is Ravi Rampal, who is a wonderful bowler. Nowadays he has really improved. I was a bit surprised to see that his name does not figure even in the 30 probables who have been selected for the ICC Cricket World Cup 2015. And Jesse Ryder, as you know, because of all his problems that he had with a lot of disciplinary issues, and he didn't play in the match for New Zealand A. Well, the selectors decided that Jesse Ryder won't be a part of this ICC Cricket World Cup 2015. Well, other than that, dear fan subscribers, I think it's time for me to end my cricket show. Thanks for your company as always. I look forward to your company once again tomorrow on my next Cricket Happening show, where I will be talking about day 2, which is an interesting day which is coming up at the Adelaide Oval. Until then, it's goodbye for the day. Thank you.